The greatest political mischief that was ever meted on Nigeria was the creation of the sixth geopolitical zone. In those six geopolitical zones, the most laughable of those zones are southeast and north central. What's that on the map that is referred to as southeast geopolitical zone, and what is north central? Let me start with north central. When you say a place is north central, it means it is in the center of the north. The question I asked today, where you refer to as north central, is it in the center of the north or the center of Nigeria? Even if we want to maintain that centrality of it, shouldn't it have been central Nigeria? Central Nigeria, but why not central? Why that not central? The reason is they want the people of that region to feel inclusive of not the identity for just political population reason. When politics come, they are used as blackmail for numbers, for the size of numbers. I don't think they are really regarded as northerners. Those who created the zone know, but let's make them feel they are northerners and then give them that name, North Central. That name does not suit. It's very laughable, if you ask me. Very, very laughable. The southeast, on the other hand, was a deliberate ploy to cage and weaken a certain people perceived to have population advantage. So just give them that small place, create 5 states for them, and then call it southeast. And then they are happy and all is well. Truth is that there are so many things about this country that needs readjustment. We need to start building foundation based on, we need to start building our foundation based on truth. We need to start laying foundation of truth. Everything about Nigeria was defined on lies, was defined on deception, until we start the basics. Nigeria is no longer divided along Southern Protectorate and Northern Protectorate. We are no longer under British rule. The fact that they brought us together and formed Nigeria, we are now one. For those crying one Nigeria, then if we are one Nigeria, indeed, as some of you cry, then we should start eradicating what the colonial masters did for us by creating Southern Protectorate and Northern Protectorate. We are no longer under protectorates. We are now in Nigeria. So if you want to refer to the Southern Nigeria, refer to exactly where is South, not based on Southern Protectorate. The Southern Protectorate is not the southern part of Nigeria. The Northern Protectorate is not the northern part of Nigeria, geographically speaking. You know it, I know it. North Central, whatever that means. What is North Central? That's center of the north. That is what it means. Is that place center of the north? If you want to refer to the center of the north by Northern Protectorate or by the geopolitical discussion, okay, and that's north and south, then it should be somewhere in the middle of the north, maybe places like Bauchi, Gombe, and Katsina. Then it will be that it is middled. It's in the middle of places like Kano and where again? Plateau. So Plateau should be southern north. Then Bauchi is north central. Then Kano is northern north. Abi, how you put it? All these captions are just made with political mischief, political agenda. We should start renaming these things. These things are just. Some people thought they own Nigeria and they can describe it how fit they are. For goodness sake, what is North Central? What is North Central? What is Southeast? Is that place Southeast? That place is not Southeast. But it is a deliberate ploy, so that when those who want to continue to tell you that they have political power ahead of you, you look at all these nasty divisions and then you fall for it and you say, yes, they are true. We cannot do anything without, we cannot win presidency without the support of the North. That is the state of most Southerners. You cannot do anything without the power. Whereas, well, what are they? I mean, what's the strength? The strength of the northern politicians lie in your consistent division, lie in your consistent belief that you don't have power, lies in your consistent belief that you chose to adopt the narrative they sell for you. Until you begin to see these narratives where I see it, we will not approach politics in Nigeria with more confidence than that it should be. Now, I did a video earlier on today concerning the terminologies Southeast and North Central. And in some of the comments, some people are accusing me of being a hypocrite, that I didn't talk about South-South. Now, is there a compass description geographically that is called South-South? Now, I was able to type on my ChatGPT and DeepSeek, and the question was, is there a place like South-South? And both ChatGPT and DeepSeek said no, there's no place like South-South. Now, there is no place like South-South. Agreed. I am not too sentimental. I'm not being tricky. If you know me on this channel, I say it the way it is. That's why it's called water. Now, saying I'm a hypocrite, it's driving it too far. The fact is that you that is saying that I'm a hypocrite are indeed the more hypocrite, and I'll tell you why. Do you know that when we tell a typical Igbo man, particularly those IPOB members, and we tell them that, look, you are a Southerner, they don't like being referred to as Southerners. They prefer being referred to as Southeast. They want to hear that East inside, because hearing that East gives them a distinction of their Igbo-ness. They want to hear that East. The same thing with Yoruba man. If you tell a Yoruba man that you are a Southerner, call him a Southerner is like you are saying that he's from South. Therefore, he wants to hear that West, because that West protects his Yoruba-ness. So, those who, when they were creating the South, what did you do? Nothing. When they were creating Southeast and cutting away River State, cutting away Calabar, Cross River, cutting away Akwa Ibom, you did nothing. Up till today, there are some politicians who are still clamoring for state creation in the Southeast. So, beyond that, we should try as much as possible to understand the gimmicks that was played on us. Now, South is merely referring as the southernmost part of the South. The southernmost part of the South. It doesn't mean geographically speaking on a compass there's a place like that. It's southernmost part of the South or northernmost parts of the North. Just because you don't hear something like north doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's a description. It's a description. I can say the westernmost parts of the West. That means if I decide to go to a straight line heading towards the West. Now, it really doesn't matter. The six geopolitical zone were constructed with deep-rooted political intention. So we shouldn't fight ourselves because of it. The six geopolitical zones were created with deep-rooted sinister intentions, and we are fighting ourselves for it. Now, those that have been labeled the part of Southeast that was originally taken to, Midwest, Delta and Edo were taken out from Southwest, and then Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and which other state again were cut out from the original Southeast and added to Midwest to form South. And it was more or less like a clamor for getting. You see, there are things I want to say, but because I don't want to start a process of argument and fight and quarrel. This is not what I intend to do. My intention on this page is to create a deep and profound awareness to the machinations that some people did to us that kept us divided. I said the other time, forget this Southeast, Southwest. We are first of all South. Do you know I made a small, it wasn't a video, a mere comment on my page. I said, we are first Southerners before Southeast or Southwest. Do you know that almost 80% of the Igbos who commented on that page said, no, I am Southeast. Then 90% of the Yorubas commented and said, no, I am South. What is South? I am Southwest. Now, in those comments, you could see a deliberate intention to distinguish yourselves from those that are naturally in the South. You want to practically distinguish yourself and be identified with your ethnicity, because accepting that you are a Southerner may distort your original understanding of your being Southeast or Southwest. Look, the whole of the South, we have a problem with ourselves. Whether we like it or not, we have a deep-rooted problem in ourselves, and that's the problem of superiority. Each ethnicity wants to be seen as being superior to the other tribes. The Yorubas want to be seen as superior to those perceived as minority. The Igbos too want to see themselves as superior to those perceived as minority. Let's face it, that's the truth. Now, until we get to a point where we see ourselves as equal, that word is such a word that some ethnicities don't want to hear in the South. Until we get to a point where we see ourselves, and now I remember something I want to say. Look, what made the Hausas and Fulanis become dominant in the north, or the scenario and circumstances that make the Hausas and Fulanis dominant in the north, and the scenarios that make the Yorubas dominant and superior in the west, it's not the same scenario available in the south and southeast, because the Edo man no go ever agree make Igbo man show say pass am. Same thing with the Yoruba man, same thing with the Ijaw man. So you see, the scenario is different. It's very, very different. If you that you are saying is anything like South, all of us are Southeast, we should all be Igbo, you know it's not going to work. It's going to be a mixture of very, very explosive material in a tight compartment that will soon explode with the shortest time. You see, the issue now is not about whether it is South or Southeast. For me, the issue is about developing a mutual respect for one another and finding what binds us, not ethnic, not tribe. If you bring tribe to bind us together, it won't work in that region, South and Southeast. If you bring tribe will not be what will bind us. But if we begin to emphasize on regionality, on the region, then hopefully we'll begin to evolve a psychology that accepts one another. Have you ever asked why, when the people like Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Cross River, when they brought them to join Midwest, Edo and Delta, there was a seamless interaction. It was they just blend as if nothing. They just blend. That is because they have mutual respect for one another. They have mutual respect for one another. When you have people telling you that, we are more than you people. Who are you? I beg. Igbos are more in Delta State. Igbos, you create unnecessary atmosphere for anger. Now, until you begin to have a psychology that, look, we are all equal, irrespective of the size of your population, irrespective of the size of your ethnicity, we'll keep having these discordances, and it's not necessary. Yes, there's no such place as South, but then it's a convenient description of a people who want to be seen as the southernmost part of the South. So we should get that in clear. We should get that in very, 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 very clear. If we must find a way to come together, somebody must begin to show a character and a state of being appreciable so that we can join. Look, let me tell you, the more we keep fanning this division, the more we become vulnerable to those who enjoy the benefit of us being divided.
What Magnus Oraka said isn't far from the truth. It's the raw, unfiltered reality we've all been dancing around for years. The South didn't just wake up divided. It was carved apart, intentionally, piece by piece, and not for the good of the country, but for the benefit of a carefully protected structure that favors the North. Let's stop pretending. The North, with all its internal differences, Hausa, Fulani, Kanuri, Tiv, is politically treated as one united body. That's by design. That unity gives them strength in numbers during elections in federal appointments, and in national decision-making, one solid voting bloc. Meanwhile, the South, which could be just as powerful, maybe even more, is split into three zones: Southwest, Southeast, and South-South, each with their own issues, each told to compete for attention, power, and relevance. Why was the South balkanized like this? It was to weaken its collective voice. Divide a people and you reduce their power. Create separate identities, then pit them against each other. Make them feel different, even when their problems are the same. While the North speaks as one, the South is busy arguing among itself who suffered more, who should lead, who deserves what. It's a calculated move, and it's worked. But let's not stop there. Let's talk about the so-called North Central, a region that, if we're being real, has little in common with the core North. Their culture, their languages, their beliefs, they're closer to the South. But politically, they were grouped with the North. Why? Because during elections, North Central adds millions of votes to the North's count. It boosts the illusion of a dominant Northern majority. But when power is being shared, when resources and key appointments are handed out, North Central gets sidelined. Used, then ignored. That's not just unfair, it's manipulation, a population scam, and it's been happening since the military days, carried into this so-called democracy. Every time the South raises concerns, it's met with deflection or silence. Meanwhile, the structure remains untouched. No region has felt this injustice harder than the Southeast. It's the only region with just 5 states. Others have 6, some even 7. That alone means fewer senators, fewer House of Representatives members, and less money from federal allocations. They've been systematically boxed in, isolated, and misrepresented. People ask why the Southeast hasn't produced a president since 1999. But the better question is, was the system ever designed to let that happen? They are painted as complainers, as rebels, but no one wants to look at the roots of their frustration. The numbers don't lie. The Southeast was shortchanged from the very beginning. Every census, every election, every national plan, someone somewhere made sure they were kept at the edge of power. And let's be clear, this isn't an anti-North message. This is a reality check, a call to every Nigerian, North and South, to see the system for what it really is. A structure built on imbalance cannot survive forever. You cannot expect peace in a country where equity is treated like a favor, not a right. What Magnus Oraka had said was to open a wound that has been covered with bandages for decades. Now that it's open, we can't go back to pretending. The way Nigeria was arranged favors a few and silences the rest. If you keep rewarding manipulation and punishing unity, it's only a matter of time before everything falls apart.